Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. I have my friends from the Unfiltered Longhorn talk group on, Vashawn and Chris. Hook 'em, fellas. Hook 'em, everybody out there watching. Y'all know what week it is. That's why we getting started. I told you I was going to get started early this week. 5-0, Texas Longhorns. Number 3, ranked in the country, Texas Longhorns. Heading now to Dallas, Texas to face the 5-0 Oklahoma Sooners. Big time Red River shootout matchup. Can't wait to just start to dive into this and kind of talk. I wanted to have a tail of the tape conversation with you brothers today, and really kind of, hey, what do we look like, right? And kind of auditing our team, but also with our opponents coming from the north, how we match up in a game that now carries a lot of significance for both teams. But with the goals that are in line for the Texas Longhorns, everything is out there for us, right, fellas? Everything is out there for us. And with the way this team has been playing football lately, I'm excited for this game and this opportunity, but also to talk ball with you guys. So, also, everybody coming in here into the chat, y'all know what it is. Hit the like button, subscribe, the whole bit. You need to be subscribed if you want to be a part of the conversation in the chat. But, we're outside here. So, Vashawn, how are you feeling coming into this week? I just want to kind of start off with general thoughts here. How are you feeling coming into this week, man?
Man, I told Simp earlier, man. I actually feel good, brother. I really, for some reason, I was a little more concerned about Kansas. That was before we found out Jaden Daniels was going to be out. But I knew coming in. One thing I can say about Quinn, even though he have his ups and downs when he play, that Joker know he shows out in big games, man. When the lights are on, Quinn plays his best ball, and I really believe this Saturday, man. Let me be frank. You can throw the records out. You can throw the records out, guys, because I mean, you go back and look at in the past history of this game. You had Oklahoma in what 2015 with Baker Mayfield. They was I can't remember they was undefeated or not, but Charlie Strong I think was 1-4 going into the game, and he came out there and he put together a game plan and they won. They won the trenches, and like I say, man, I believe Texas has the trench advantage. And another thing I can say about Texas, this 5-0 start, I've been skeptical because I've been snake bitten before. And you could call it PTSD, whatever you want to call it. But every time this team wins, a little bit of that PTSD lifts a little bit off of me. Because always in the back of my mind, I'm like, when they gonna come, when is it gonna come out? But I tell you this team can win a bunch of ways. That's one thing I learned, Steve. They can win running the ball, they can win throwing the ball, they can win defensively. So the only thing they probably can't win is and is the Bert Auburn, it's the kicking game. But no, that's just a joke. All jokes aside. but hey, look, shout out to Auburn, man. He
Hey,
was
it's
good
funny
last
until
year.
it's not, brother.
I know. And he was, you know what? He was money last year. He just off this year. But this 5-0 start, um, Texas has won a bunch of different ways. A bunch of different ways. So I'm just excited to see which way how they're gonna handle OU. And I know we're gonna get into how we're gonna do a little later, but man, it's just excited to be 5-0, man. You know what I'm saying? To finally be able to take a little sip of the Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, man, that's all I got, guys. Well, what you got, Stamp?
Man, Vashawn, we've been having to like keep you up this week because you were real nervous last week. And
Yeah.
me and Cristobal Queas, we start singing a song for you. It's that Matthew McConaughey song. Somebody don't think so. Somebody knows. And I'll tell you what, man, the way this team is playing, I am like, I know,
Yeah.
I mean, and I think each week, like you said, you're becoming You're getting on that Kool-Aid hype train we've been talking about that Kieran started.
Yeah.
Ewers obviously is impressive to me. I like the way he's looking. He's looking more confident. The thing that's impressive to me the most, and the reason why I have so much confidence, is this offensive line. Me and you, I mean, it's been a pleasure to do these meetings with Steven and talking ball with the Fanatic perspective community. And one player that we gave a lot of I wouldn't say the business to, but we were honest about his play was Mr. Jake Majors. That man right there Jake's a dog, bro. Like literally. I mean, if you look at, the Rice game, we were a little skeptical because we saw some things we weren't sure. That was a very vanilla game plan. Those guys went in the next week against Alabama and, I mean, pretty much dominated the whole game. And I give Jake more credit. I mean, everybody deserves credit as a whole. I think him and Campbell's combo blocking is coming together. I think Devin Campbell might be, at his potential, might be the best guard that's ever played next to Majors. But I mean, Majors deserves his flowers, man. That Alabama game, they kept Quinn clean. Man, they kept themselves clean. There weren't false starts. There weren't the penalties before the before the play even goes on, the pre-snaps. Like literally, as a whole, these guys have played great. We're running behind Jake Majors on 3rd and 8 against Alabama and getting 11, and that's pretty much the ball game. There's a couple of plays, and the thing that I'm really impressed with Flood is that, man, we're running a lot of outside and inside zone. And like we talked about before, Jake Majors, that's his strength. A lot of these guys, Christian Jones played in that system. Jake Majors played in that system. Hayden Connor was recruited to that. And they're playing. I mean, they're playing to these guys' strengths. Jake went from a player that we weren't sure if we were going to see him finish the season at center till, I think, offensive line awards. You kind of have it. You have to have it going for more than 1 year. I think next year, if we can keep this going, Jake may be on the Remington Award watch. And man, that's a 180 from where we were with him about 3-4 months ago when we started having these discussions.
Yeah.
It's to your point too with DJ Campbell playing next to Jake, just to see his growth in a very short period of time. And I know we've had to thrust more upon him with the Cole Hudson injury. Has been impressive, and you see the potential there. Some guys, a lot of guys, it's a question of when, not if. DJ is one of those guys. And it's starting to really click. Even when you saw in the Alabama game at times where it's like, okay, this guy is. And it's funny because this type of game against OU, when Bashan started talking about the trenches, this is the type of game you get DJ Campbell for. This is the type of game you have the Tavondre Sweats and the Byron Murphys of the world, because it does start up front. We can talk about, and I see some questions about, hey, OU's tempo. How do we deal with that? Hey, OU's pressure packages, very aggressive defense, swarming. BV's got more depth this year. Obviously, he hit the portal. He's been recruiting, all myriad of things. The talent level has increased on the OU side, hence them being 5-0 so far. We'll speak to all that. But let me tell you this, Texas got better too. Texas has improved too from last year. Texas is deeper as well. We talk about the depth that OU has. That the two can play that game.
That's right.
And I think the depth that Texas has is actually special this year, especially when we start talking about the development on both sides of the ball, trench-wise. Vernon Broughton's playing good football. Alfred Collins is playing good football. I mean, we can go down the list, and it's and we have chess pieces depending on how you want to play us. And it goes to the point, Bashan and Chris, you both said it. Texas can win the game different ways. And I don't know the last time I could have said that. Yeah. I really don't.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
No, trenches, absolutely, guys. I'm just reading some of the comments here. Trenches win these type of games, especially when you start looking at where's the difference. These are two 5-0 teams. Okay. Yeah. And like it's funny, Bashan, you said throw the records out. And typically, it's We typically say that when there's one team that's like humming, right? There's one team that's 5-0, and the other team may be struggling, or the other team may be lower ranked or unranked. Right now, it's really best on best. I mean, OU fans are telling me that they feel the only reason why they're ranked, lower is their strength of schedule, essentially, right? So
Yeah.
this is like their prove it opportunity based upon how their schedule lays out. But a lot of OU fans are telling me, hey, we feel really, really good about this team. Some are telling me this is the year before the year. There's OU fans that are telling me that too. But a lot feel really, really confident about how they match up in this game, especially considering the statistical output that they have. Still comes back to those trenches. It still comes back to that's how we had to look at the Alabama game and say,
Yeah.
hey, where do we have a chance? And that's where Texas really proved to us that they're for real and how they have finished these games. Every opponent Texas has played, they've worn them out over 4 quarters. All five teams have had people cramping at the end of the game, people that can't get off the field at the end of the game. We have been one thing. You can call us whatever you want, but you better call us physical. I know that
Yeah.
about Texas now,
That's right.
right? On
Very
both
physical.
sides.
When was the
Very
last time we
physical.
Very
could say that,
physical.
man?
Yeah.
It's been a minute. We haven't been able to say that in literally. It's been probably since the mid-aughts.
Think about that.
Mm.
I mean, also the whole throw the records out thing, right? Recently, we've had to say that to kind of give ourselves hope to play OU. Because oftentimes when we think about the trenches, the person that's always typically had the advantage in this matchup has been
Usually
OU.
wins. Yeah. Yep.
And we talk about those Baker teams. Cool. But look at the lines. Look at the lines. You had Orlando Brown on those teams. You had Creed Humphrey on those teams. Those are guys that are making a lot of money in the NFL in those trenches. You look at the year they had Isaiah Thomas and Nick Benito and Perion Winfrey and all these guys on their defensive line going against our offensive line, who we were shuffling people in and out, right? Like
The 8-sack
it's
game. I remember that one. Man.
the 8-sack game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man. Yeah.
So we can talk about a lot of different things, but where my confidence is brimming, and I think a lot of Texas fans' confidence is brimming, is at the line of scrimmage. Because that has been our issue in this rivalry. And starting last year, we felt that shift. And now coming into this game with that being the strength of our football team, honestly, the character of our football team, I've been really, really impressed. Now, with that being said, we've given them their flowers and things. Where are we vulnerable, right? What do we need to? Hey, we need to make sure we're buttoned up here. But Sean, you mentioned the kicking game earlier, which I agree with you, and we can laugh about it. But Sark even talked about this.
Yeah.
That cannot be an issue moving forward. Whatever they need to do, again, rebuilding the basics, going back to your mechanics, because a kicker, it's all repetition, it's all mental, and making sure everything is perfect to where you need it to be when you go out there and you put your head down, you're having to kick that football. Kicking game is now a concern for Texas. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Because that can flip momentum in that stadium in such a unique atmosphere. But Sean, what's a concern for you? Where are we vulnerable?
Man, and it's been on film quite a few times. You know, I think we noticed it against Alabama, but our safety play. And it's nothing against them because I mean, I believe our safeties are very good, especially in the run support coming up in the box. But man, when they go to that matchup zone, it's like they either they don't have the speed to flip their hips and run with the wide receiver, or they just get caught standing flat-footed and letting receivers run by. And I'm not just talking about this game. I mean, we can go back and look at, like I say, I think we noticed it against Alabama. And I went and looked at some film today against Kansas. Kansas just really they missed a few opportunities where the guy missed him. But if you go back and look at some of the the plays, man, the safeties was it was getting beat, and I think that's what Oklahoma will try to attack us. It's already on film. Um, but again, I think this game is going to come down to who can control the clock and who can execute. And I know we're talking about weaknesses, but I think I don't know. I don't know if how PK is going to cover up those deficiencies. But I do think personally, man, you got Derek Williams can run like a cornerback. I was watching him, man. He looks different on the film. Remember, me and Sim talked about this years ago when I first saw Jade Barron, and I said that dude that looked different. And when I first saw Byron Murphy, and I was like, that guy looks different. Them guys that look different, they just jump off the screen on you. And Derek Williams looked different. And like I say, no disrespect to none of our safeties. We got some good safeties, but man, that is on film. I guarantee you, Oklahoma is going to come out and they're going to try to take advantage of that. I think personally, how you stop that, we're going to have to get to Dylan Gabriel, man. We're going to have to get to him, keep him uncomfortable, and just go from there. And we can talk about some of how we attacked it later, but to me, that's a glaring weakness right there. We need to fix by Saturday.
Chris, I'll go to you before I chime in on that because that's definitely something that's been emphasized all over the place early this week.
I think the safety position, like Vashawn said, is probably our weakness right now. Boundary corner, I think Mr. Watts is. I mean, he gets beat on. He gets beat on deep routes. I mean, he's not playing his position. He's going to play on the next level. I mean, that guy's obviously a safety. But I mean, those are our two. One thing that Mac Brown said that I always believe. Well, I don't always believe this, but I believe this right now for our safety position and Mr. Williams is that he really didn't play younger guys until after Texas OU, which at times it was good because you had that. It was a luxury because we had that kind of depth. I would have played Cedric Benson, but there's just certain times. I think after this week, I think you're probably going to see Derek Williams probably more because you're going to be, I mean, 6 games into the season. I mean, he's obviously already getting plays already. And I like the way our defense is playing our defensive players. You don't see a guy having to play 50 or 60 plays, Derek Williams getting his 10, 11 plays, getting his plays in. And hopefully, as the season goes, if we continue to struggle at safety, hopefully that number can, his number can rise. I wonder what game we play this year where we're going to see more of our starters play more reps because they really haven't had to yet. There's going to be that game where you're going to want good on good more often, even though I see what the staff is doing with, the way they're playing. Like our second and sometimes third guy is playing a lot of plays at a lot of positions, like defensive line, secondary, But again, man, I think after this week, I think it's going to be time for some of these younger guys probably to get on the field. Another thing that I'm kind of worried about, we saw it a little bit on Saturday, and that's red zone offense a couple times. Obviously, the Sanders injury really it kind of hurt us a little bit.
Impact, for sure.
It was a big impact, but I mean, I'm giving our offensive line flowers because, man, I mean, they're opening up holes like Steve. You've seen me. I'm stocky and old, bro. I could have ran and gotten 10, 20 yards on some of the plays, man. But it's just, I don't know. It's the quarterback. I don't know. I mean, maybe, like I said, he's playing great. He does not deserve to get, the business he gets from Longhorn Nation. But at times I just think when we get to the red zone, I don't know. It's just like we look like an SEC team or a pro team, old school pro style team, going all the way down. And once we get inside the 20, at times, we're struggling. I also think that it didn't really happen like that. It did happen a little bit against Alabama, but I think as the game goes on, I think as both our running backs get healthy, hopefully it gets easier. But red zone offense, man. And then when you can't count on your field goal kicker, if he's unsure and shaky, you really need to get the ball in the end zone more.
I want to address a super chat we got here. And Homegrown Cowboy, thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. Helps the platform immensely. But he said one position that we are not seeing with OU's offense is using their tight ends. Could they be holding that back for this game? I know they still have Austin Stogner, but I mean, in some other guys, but I don't see them using that position the way they use Braden Willis before, and unfortunately, Braden Willis had to play quarterback for them a lot in last year's game, and I don't know. I don't even know if Stogner has 50 yards this year receiving. They've been really heavy on utilizing guys downfield, right? Like Nick Anderson, Andrew Anthony, Drake Stoops in the slot. They've been more aggressive getting the ball out to their pass catchers, and they've got a whole group, right? Jalil Farouk. That's four guys that are as good as anybody's group right out the gate, right? So when you're talking about using a ton of 11, a ton of 10 personnel like OU's deploying, you may not see the tight ends as much, especially when you don't have a Braden Willis anymore in that room. That would be what I'm seeing, but I'm not that's speaking from what I'm seeing from the other side.
I haven't watched too much of OU, and I'll self-admit it. I watched a little bit of it, but to my understand, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, do the Brow system, which they're running. That's Art Brow. That's Art Brow's son-in-law. They're running the veer and shoot. I just remember when Sterling Gilbert brought it to Texas. Steve, you remember this? We probably only threw it to the tight end.
They don't throw to the tight ends. That's the point I've been trying to make. Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong, guys. I just really don't think they really, in that offense, they might not throw it a lot to the tight end. But I could be wrong on that, because I remember when we ran it, we didn't throw it. We hardly ever threw it to our tight end.
You're 100% right on that. I've been meaning. That's what I was. Whenever Steve read that question, that was going to be my answer. I think Braden Willis last year was kind of a luxury. He was a holdover from the Lincoln Riley offense where they used their tight ends.
Yeah.
I don't think the veer and shoot does not use
Braden Willis last year. Yeah.
But I mean the veer and shoot, like any version of the veer and shoot, I never seen the tight end used. There was one time where I think Baylor and Art Browse had a 300-pound tight end that played a lot, but he never got the ball. He was literally like an extra offensive lineman out there. So I've never seen them, And then that year we had 2016, we had Caleb Blewett out there, and he was our best pass rusher, and we switched him to tight end at a place where he really wasn't used, but he was probably our best blocker, so that's probably why they did it. But yeah, man, that veer and shoot, I never really see the tight end. So
unless they upgraded it, which they could have. I heard they added some more wrinkles and stuff like that, and you build upon offensive schemes and things like that. So hey, who knows, man? Let's hope they don't use it this Saturday. Yeah.
We know Austin Stogner used to be a bad boy. That was the other thing, the injury history and him coming back. And it's interesting, some of that injury history with OU tight ends. I remember Grant Calcaterra, same thing. With him, some really bad injuries whether it's concussions or legs or whatever, guys trying to work back. So I don't think that's something if he's in there, it's more of a situational package or something to where there could be cooked up to the point of the question. But tendency on film has been Farouk, Anderson, Stoops, and Anthony. Okay, those are the guys that are getting that that are being deployed for Dylan Gabriel to either push the ball downfield or have those quick read slants, pull the ball out, immediately get the ball into space, complement of their run game. That's how they're going to deploy their offense, and they're going to go at mock speed, right? This is one of the fastest teams, if not the fastest teams in the country, snap to snap. Going back to Vashon's point, and I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything or what have you. Quentin said my anxiety level is 2 out of 10. It's the Red River. It's the Red River. I hear you, brother. But
hate week, baby. It's hate week.
It's hate week, right? I love it. I love it. One way you can get under the haters' skin is to say we ain't worried about the haters.
Yeah.
That's one way to get under their
Yeah.
skin. I will say though, to your point about our safeties, right? And because that's a big. I think if you do have anxiety, I'm gonna put Quentin's up here because he always makes some good comments. But Quinn's up here and says my anxiety level is 2 out of 10. This is what I think. If you're a Texas fan, there's concern, and then I'm gonna go to the other side because there's something that OU fans are hiding that's a concern from them for them, and nobody's bringing it up yet. But for
Yep.
us, my issue isn't as much the safety play as it is their ability to turn and run when there is something either crossing their face, right? Or there are route, obviously somebody's being isolated if we're in some type of quarters match look and like Alabama did with Burton. They
Yeah.
that was schemed up, right? And Bugs saw it. Bugs reacting like he should, but that play is designed to turn it into a foot race. And Bug's not going to run with Jermaine Burton 50 yards down the field, not on a dead sprint. So when you see some of those things, it's like, okay, yes, that does give us anxiety. Derek Williams is going to have to factor in maybe some guys with some athleticism and speed, and also our corners being ready to get on a horse and staying on that horse, because with that tempo and them taking shots repeatedly, OU's going to take shots whether you got it covered or not. Like they're gonna. That's built into the scheme, right? Is to kind of test that. Here's the thing though. Here's where you shut all that down. In this defending the bear and shooting, we know this because we ran this offense, like Bashan said, back in 2016. The fastest way to stop all of this is you must defend first and second down on the initial drive like it's a goal line scenario. You must defend it because they are built like a juggernaut. And if they get going and they get that first down, that second first down, it's like the old Baylor Browns offenses, then it's just a matter of time before they score.
Yep.
But these offenses stall. When you apply pressure and you get them in the 3rd and 9 on that first down, now all of a sudden time of possession becomes a significant issue for OU. So my safeties, don't take yourself out of the game being so scared of the deep ball to where you give up stuff short underneath and then allow them to get into rhythm after substitution packages start happening. You must defend those initial downs. Here's the thing: Cincinnati actually had the right idea in their game. They gave up a couple drives where they allowed OU out of their goal line even once. But you also saw long stalls of Cincinnati just playing good defense on first and second down and putting them in the 3rd and long. And now Dylan Gabriel has to sit there and actually read the defense, right? Because it's different playing quarterback when you get to dictate the defense versus the defense dictating to you. So let me make that point real clear. Here's the other thing I want to bring up, and I'm going to piss some OU people off right now. Dylan Gabriel is a concern in this game. Here's why. This is his first time playing in this game. And it's a weird game. And the levels of anxiety are off. It's all a different story. And so when you have somebody that's a brand new face and starter to this game, I know he was on the team technically last year, but he did not play in this game. He had not played in this environment. This is the toughest challenge of Dylan Gabriel's football career. He has never played against a defense like this. He has never played against a defense that's as fast laterally. He has not played against a defense, especially as much quarterback run as OU implements. And we know Dylan Gabriel's injury history, as well as Dylan Gabriel's play there is a drop-off in his performance against top 25 teams. Go look at his career record, and this goes back to UCF. He has a significant drop-off in performance against some of the better teams.
That's right.
For his career.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dylan Gabriel has to show me that he can beat one of the best teams and play the best against the best, because he has not done that in his career. I'm just going off of factual evidence. So until I see him perform that way, Quinn Ewers is kind of the opposite. Quinn
He is.
Ewers comes out
Yeah.
when you got number first round picks out there. Now he wants to show out.
Yeah.
It's we worry about Quinn when nobody cares, but when it's too cool for school and we don't really care about this opponent and we're looking ahead to somebody else. But when it's teams like this and he in Dallas, and you know how
he
Belichick turns up
shines.
when he gets
He's
to
ready.
Dallas.
He shines. Yeah, he shines in big games, and we call him. His new name is Quintavious Young.
He's got the fade. Oh, he's
With the
lined up perfect.
hey, he got the 4.3 speed, Steve. No, but real talk, man. Can I go, Steve?
Go.
Okay.
Kill it.
Real talk, like I say, man. Keys to this game again, to me, and it always. This is the historical evidence. Always come down to the trenches. I think you're going to try to take that away. We've been very good at inside zone this year. Very good. I mean, better than last. This probably been the best inside zone running team since Sark's been here. And Sark's been running that. I mean, he's been pretty good. He had a bunch at Lindell White when he was at USC. He ran it at Washington. He's very and man, he's finally got it. And I want to think, and I want to say, Simp, that Paul Chris might have had a little bit of influence on that. Don't know, but hey, Paul Chris is on the staff. I think OU's going to come down. They're going to try to stop that. So y'all know we're going to see that 3 high safety look. Venables took that from Iowa State. He brought it over to Clemson. He's now got it at Oklahoma. I know he's doing a few other little things, but we're going to see that 3 high fly over defense. I think they're going to bring that safety down in the middle to help with that inside zone. Because man, if you let Brooks and Baxter just kill you going up the middle, it's going to be it's going to actually be a real easy game if they can't stop the run. Me personally, I think what I saw a little bit of Oklahoma's defense, you attack them on the edges. Get outside zone, because they're going to try to keep somebody in that middle. Get outside zone, get that running game going. And man, once you get that, then maybe I think you could hit them over the top. And like Steve said, they do got some good saves. I think it's Peyton Bowen still there, and what's the kid we lost? Billy Bowman.
Billy Bowman.
He returned an interception last week, 65 yards. So we got to definitely watch them.
I'm sorry, I was talking on mute, brother.
Oh no, you're fine.
No, Peyton Bowen, superstar freshman, no doubt about it. He was a 5-star. He was all world. Everybody was after him. So they got Peyton Bowen back there. They got Billy Bowman back there. Key Lawrence, the elder statesman. So they got some guys. And last year they tried to. One of the issues where I will say this for OU in terms of where they should feel better. They were playing, to that point about the 3-3-5 flyover, they were playing Woody Washington in the middle, who's a corner. But because of the injuries and whatnot, they had to put Woody there because they were worried about Bijan and Roshan. And then Woody ended up getting hurt, if anybody remembers this.
Yeah.
Woody was playing in the middle, and they got Woody hurt. And Woody was really just more of their boundary-type corner or whatever. So this year with Lawrence, Bowman, they should have a lot better options, right, to deal with that particular issue. I do agree with you there. Quentin, thank you for the super chat, brother. 103 passer rating is not very good at the college level, and we're going by college passer rating. Now, if we're going by NFL passer rating, that's different. We got to remember those are 2 different metrics. 103 passer rating. Dylan Gabriel's passer rating. What's his normal passer rating on the season? So, Quentin, 103 versus ranked teams. Got it. What's his normal passer rating, right? I can pull that up real quick, but I'm talking right now to you guys.
I got you.
Somebody wants to
I got you, brother. I got you.
Let's see here. What do we got here in the chat? Oh, that's the other thing, too, I wanted to talk about with their linebacker play. I think this is going to be key. That's another thing where, Stutzman has been good this year inside. Danny Stutzman, and they've been singing his praises. Jaren Kanik's been playing a lot more. I like Kanik. I don't like how OU uses him. I think Kanik is a dog, but I don't like the way. That's just my personal opinion. They got Deshaun McCullough from Indiana, the transfer, who's like 6'5", and They've been playing him because the other brother went down on their team, so they've been playing a lot of McCullough. I look at McCullough and I'm like, all right, this is where I think Jatavian Sanders is going to be okay to play, personally. I think a lot of what we saw in the Kansas game was precautionary to kind of keep him chilling. But I also think if you're asking McCullough to cover JT Sanders, you're in for a long day.
Yep.
That's not the move. I think if you're OU, you would prefer a Peyton Bowen or Key or some of those guys to match up on the tight ends. I understand. People have this notion because you're 6'5" and you can run that you can cover people. That means you can get it. Yeah, you can run a straight line and get after the quarterback. That doesn't mean you can flip your hips and cover somebody running a route.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because I was watching him get cooked by the Cincinnati tight end that couldn't catch shit. He couldn't catch at all, and I was watching McCullough just, blindly. I'm like, why are they? Those are things that were making me go, right? Just watching those games. However, that is a good group of players if they're coming forward that Texas is going to have to deal with and problem solve against.
Steve, do
Man.
you think it might be an issue if we don't have JT Sanders?
I still think, what I've seen, even in the progression with Gunnar Helm.
Yeah.
Not, for those who don't know, see, look at that. 190 against unranked. That's what I was saying. Like,
appreciate that, Quentin. Appreciate
thank you,
that,
sir.
Yeah.
So that speaks for itself, right?
Yeah.
But with Gunnar Helm, big misnomer with him is that Gunnar Helm's a blocking tight end. We only just call him that because he plays next to JT Sanders. Gunnar Helm is a receiving tight end who has to earn his snaps by trying his best to block, but he's really a receiving tight end. And I don't know if anybody's noticed some of these tight end screens we've been running to Gunnar. His feel for that tells you everything you need to know because he's always getting hella yards when we run that. It's one of those things, though, where even if you're asking somebody who's not comfortable, to me, Gunnar Helm's still better than that Cincinnati tight end. And that kid was getting open downfield, guys. The kid was running wheel routes and getting open. He just couldn't catch the ball. But those are things where I'm like, but JT Sanders is a totally different ball game. He's one of the best tight ends in the country.
Yeah,
he's probably just behind Bowers, and that's it.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't play, that's a big loss for us, and that does impact the game. I will say that.
Man, I like how Sark's opened up the playbook the last couple of weeks. And in my opinion, I think he's kind of showing teams, because I remember I've been thinking, man, why are we showing this? Why are we showing that? I think we're really showing against Venerables and all these teams that are playing the three high safety look. Like all these tight end screens, these running back screens. I like the one we ran in the first half where Ewers drops backs out of the shotgun. He fakes right to Brooks. He turns left and he does a 180 back again with his body. I mean, those linebackers are going crazy. Anytime, you have the 21 personnel, which is your two running back, one tight end, and you see one of those guys go in motion. I mean, that's how you're going to confuse these three safety looks, and also when you bring in Ogbo with your Big 12 personnel, I mean, you're going to run it down their throats. The thing that I like seeing the other day is Sark. Like, if you look at our numbers, this is how I think, no matter who you think RB1 or RB2 is, this is Sark's dream matchup. When one of your running back has 21 carries and the other one has 16 carries, that's like Reggie and Lindell back in the day. You're able to like come out, do all this orbit motion, do all these things before the play to have the defense confused, to have all safeties confused or whatever. And then you just turn around and just give it to the running back for all these yards because everybody's worried about everything else that's going on. Man, Ogbo when that guy's ready to play, being offensive lineman full time, man, that dude's feet are so quick. Like him wearing 81, he looks like a tight end. Like, I want to see that guy actually get a run a route, you know? But I mean, again, man, I just think the last couple of weeks with what we've seen out of Sark, with everything he's done, man, like I said, I've wondered why he's done some of these things, and I see why he didn't do the things that he did, when Wyoming, deployed their three safety. You don't want to really show it that early. I mean, I think it just kind of hit him a little bit, but I think these are things after that Wyoming game, they got together and said, hey, man, we can't look like this ever again. We got to start showing it. And like I said, man, it's like our versatility. I mean, I want Sanders to play. I want him to play bad, but if he doesn't, I still feel very confident on Saturday against OU. I mean, it's
There's a question here from Quentin who says, does AD, and this is a good question, does AD go off like he did if JT is still on the field last Saturday? Because AD
well,
Mitchell went off
he
last
caught
week.
the first three passes of the game, or the first three. I mean, they were going at him. This is before Sanders gets hurt.
Okay.
So I mean, I think they saw something, and it was just like, hey, let's do it.
I'll say maybe not to the extent, but I agree with Simp. They did look like they was trying to get him involved in the game plan, but him going out definitely opened up a lot more catches for AD. And again, it goes back to what we said. Texas can win a lot of different ways, man. And that's a good recipe to have right there. That's a recipe for winning the Big 12 championship, for real. When you can win like that, and you got different guys. And last year we couldn't say that. Worthy, it was Worthy, B. John, Rojo, and
Sanders.
they was trying to get Sanders involved last year,
Yeah.
but he was still learning and growing. And I appreciate what the other guy said earlier on the thing. I believe Gunnar Ham has been developed very, very nicely, man. I was looking at when we went to our Big 12 package, and I love that name, by the way, the Big 12 package with
The
Ogbo in there.
symbolism.
Yeah. And man, if y'all go back and watch some of those inside zone plays, and I know Gunnar Ham can catch, and I'm not taking nothing away from that, but man, that Joker can block too. He sprung a couple when Brooks broke through. He was getting to that second and third level, Gunnar Ham getting that extra guy that couldn't blocking that backside guy so Brooks can take it to the house, man. But man, it's just we got so many weapons, guys. I don't even know what to say. Like I say, I'm excited. I'm excited, man, just to see how we can do. And I think one thing we haven't talked about, and Steve, we had a big fat question mark coming into the season. I've been hard on him. I've been saying this, guys. The X factor is Steve. Is Steve Sarkisian. Sarkisian has been doing a great job. He's been, be honest with you, he's the opposite of last year. Last year,
Yes.
he'll come out there. We used to call him the first 20-piece hot and spicy Popeye's chicken special. He come out with them 20 scripted plays. Nobody could hang with him. And then teams would catch up with him. In the second half, we wouldn't see nothing. Man, it's been the total opposite this year. Steve comes out, and this was the first time we scored on our first drive last week, too.
Yep.
Steve comes out, you know what I'm saying? He does his thing, and he's not bad in the first half. I'm not saying he's even bad in the first half. He's just not. He picks it up better in the second half. And it's like, man, when he goes into his bag, man, I wouldn't want to be a defensive coordinator. Steve is a lot more comfortable on those sidelines this year. And to me, that's also been one of the biggest differences and why we 5-0. And why we really haven't had nobody really test us. Like we're taking over games in the third and fourth quarter. And that's something, man, we've been wanting to happen. And I'm excited to see it, man. It's just beautiful.
Well, to that point, Bashan, that's why we're the number 3 team in the country.
Yep.
Because even the Bama game, it hasn't been close at the end of the game. At the end of the game, we're in victory formation and running clock, and even in that game, remember 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we don't give the football back.
That's right.
And it's a double digit 2-score game. So even there, we're playing with margin.
Steve, can I say this real quick? And we
Please.
still, and you know this, we're still leaving points on the field. That's the crazy part, Steve. I really honestly can't say we played an A game yet. My bad, brother. Go ahead.
Thank you, brother. Preach. No. Now you're talking from the pulpit now, brother, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is what's so intoxicating being a Texas fan right now is we
Yeah.
feel as though we're still ramping.
Yeah.
We're still ramping.
Yes.
Like a lot. Because Nick, was it Nick? I just had the comment up here. Yeah, Nick V. I agree with this comment. Sark didn't even call his best game on the Saturday. He had a good opening drive. And the reason why he had a good opening drive is because they came out and they tried to run the football and they got physical and they were physical during the drive, even throwing the ball. But how they operated, they came out and handled it. Felt like they were handling Kansas like they were small, right?
Yeah.
And that was how he opened the game. What we saw in the second quarter and kind of early in that middle area, what to my thing was I felt as though Sark sometimes wants to play chess when the game really checkers today. We're really just playing checkers today.
Just play bully ball.
Right?
That's it. Yeah.
I think that's his problem in the
Jay
three
Brooks
safety.
really could have gone for 300 on Saturday.
Yeah.
And he's running, and people were talking. I'm not anti-bubble screens. That is a big function of our offense, and it's for myriad of reasons, by the way. Why we run those screens and why we demand good blocking from our receivers on those screens, because it sets up so many other things that we do within the foundation of our offense. However, I was anti-screen against Kansas because those corners play a certain way. Especially Kobe Bryant, who has like a 92 PFF grade on the season, by the way. I'm like, I'm not even dealing with that. And we don't need to. That was my whole thing. Bring it back this week. You can run bubble this week against OU. I was just saying, for that opponent, what they were doing and the way that they play, it wasn't necessary. Especially when you're getting so much chunk yardage on first and second down. And I know he was trying to set up some shots, and that even became a little frustrating. But to your point, though, especially later in the game, Sark is doing a much better job of adjusting. He is seeing things later in the game. He doesn't mind spamming stuff now if he needs to. I think before, sometimes he didn't want to spam stuff because he's like, I'm too good of a play caller just to like sit there and keep hitting the same. Sometimes, again, it's checkers and not chess. Okay? There's going to be matchups, where we need that chess brain of his. Here's another thing I look at before I hand it to Chris. Sark's scripts against OU have been really on point.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the 2021 loss, that was more of a head coach Sark issue than an OC Sark issue, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But even last year, Sark didn't even get to get through his whole script because the game was out of reach that quickly, to be frank. But there were things that he was running, especially out of bunch, that I'm like, Sark, you might be able to come back to that this year, honestly, because you didn't even get to it last year. And really, some of the double post stuff that they put on film, I'm like, there's so many variations you can run out of your bunch that screws up that defense that BB runs. But we didn't even, after a certain while, we turned that off and went back to base because we're up by 1 million. So whatever. I'm just saying the Sark scripts against OU have been on point. So we got to keep that in mind as well. Go ahead, Chris.
I got a question. So I had a friend of mine ask me this the other day, and I'm going to bring it to you guys. Maybe not against this 3 safety look with an injured Sanders, but I mean, you might be something we want to think about. Man, I love Whittington, as we've all talked about that. Man, that Alabama game was great. That was a microcosm of what we want him to be. You get AD and you get Cook getting downfield, and then you have Sanders and Whittington inside and making those plays, getting matched up the right way. Man, the last 3 games, though, I mean, we haven't seen really much out of Whittington at all. He got a bunch of targets. like 5 or 6 targets on Saturday, and I think it was 2 catches for like 18 yards. I think he has like 50, 60 yards the last 3 weeks total. Every time we run Deontay Cook out there, I mean, this is just on performance, man. It's just what we're seeing. I mean, the kid gets in the slot, the kid makes plays. I mean, he literally, I mean, Ewers throws a better deep ball from the slot than he does from the outside. But I mean, there's just a little comfort level there. I just kind of want to see where you guys are with that. Like I said, I love Jay Witt. I love what he offers. I mean, he offers more, just as much with the ball not in his hands. He's a great blocker. We need that. But what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Bashan.
You talking about how I mean, using Jay Witt?
No. Using Jonte more. Because I mean,
I'm
it's
sorry,
just
Jonte Cook. I'm sorry. Oh,
yeah,
Cook.
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, man. I think we might see a little bit. I think Sark been holding back. I think we're gonna see a little bit that come this weekend.
Okay.
Jonte, you go on that 10 personnel, bro. You put him on in there, and especially if JT Sanders is out, you gotta bring Jonte in. But like I say, I think Sark gonna throw the kitchen sink at him. He know he got to win this game. This is one of the big games right here. Sark gonna empty the clip on him, man. He's going deep in his bag. I think we just been seeing little bits and pieces what he can do with Jonte, and it looks like Quinn has a good chemistry with him. He hit him on that deep pass against Baylor, and that was right over the top. Looks like Quinn doing pretty well on that deep pass. Put a lot more air on the ball, letting receivers run under it. But like I say, man, I don't know, man. It's just Jay Witt, man, just a guy that's been there, man. He's a warrior. He's gonna come up, make clutch catches. He makes great blocks. Like I say, he's very valuable to the team too. But man, we just got a lot of weapons, bro. It
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me or shock me. And I know fans been screaming his name and been hollering for him. If he came out with Nayor, that's just me personally. I don't know. I don't got no inside information on that. If we seen Nayor sighting this week, just to throw OU off, man. This game, you just pull out everything. You got to pull out everything. Because Venables, he's gonna do the same thing on the OU side. They're gonna pull out some stuff we haven't seen on film. So I don't know what you guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, somebody in the comments asked about will we see Brennan Thompson. I mean, we saw him last week, right? And Dylan Gabriel and his noodle arm wasn't able to get the ball out there for him to actually go and get it. He had to come back to it. And credit to Brennan was able to make the play and catch the football. And look, all like you said, they're going to pull out all the stops, especially in a very shoot offense where guys are running, goes and post and stuff. You're subbing. You're going to need to rotate speed in and out. So I think that there's a lot that Brendan can offer them, even bubble screen wise, just being a threat out there and having speed. To Yarl's point, and I'm pulling this up because I want to make a point about this of how we work guys like Jonte Cook and Isaiah Nayer into this game. I'll be very, very clear about this. Last week, we ran. Let me pull up our box real quick because I want to make sure I'm accurate when I'm saying this. How many plays did we run last week? Because the week before, 2 weeks, we ran 52. I think we only ran 52 plays against Wyoming.
I think it was 70 something this week.
Yeah.
I think it was 70.
This week we ran
to like 77.
The Baylor game, we only ran 59 plays.
Yeah.
Right. And I should have had this pulled up. Let me pull it up because I'm gonna explain the difference of what I'm talking about here.
It was like 81, 82 plays. Like we were on the field. We were on the field for 39 minutes to their 21.
So that's my point. Is when we get to here we go. So we ran, let's see, 84 plays.
That's first time all year, huh?
86 plays. I'll take that. Yeah, 80. Thank you, guys. We ran 86 plays. That's how you get people like Jonte and them on the field.
Yeah.
You need to have the football because we can talk about rotations and all this type of stuff. It's hard to work people in a football game when you showed up that day and you only got 52 snaps on offense. And then the next week you only get 59 snaps on offense. And we're wondering why our stats are not reflective of how good we think we are.
That's right.
Well, last week we hit 40. We have 686 yards. We ran 86 plays. And so to me, this is the ideal game where time of possession, you need to use that as a weapon because OU doesn't give a damn about time possession. They're
They
trying
sure
to
don't.
score in 2 seconds.
Wear their defense out, Steve. Wear them out. I knew from the moment we went up down that field, I think, what was it, Steve? That first drive was 5 or 6 minutes. I said, oh, Kansas is going to be tired going into that second half, man. If you do that against Oklahoma, guys, they're going to quit come third quarter. They're going to quit.
And that puts a lot of pressure on which they're built for, right? So if I'm OU, I'm like, okay, it puts pressure on us to score, but we're built to score fast. That's our whole point, right? So I understand both sides of it, but I'd rather be on the side of I get to control and dictate with my guys and my weapons and be the physical team and establish that over time. Because here's the whole thing before we start to come to a close here. The biggest thing is Brett Venables, this OU staff, their plan is to be hyper aggressive to overwhelm you, to overwhelm your eyes. That is their plan on both offense and defense. They are hyper aggressive defensively. They're trying to get pick sixes. They're going to try to jump routes. They're trying to cause disruption. They're trying to get big sacks, right? 10-yard sacks, get you into 2nd and 20, 3rd and long, and you throw a pick, and it's a wave, right? And then on offense, they're trying to overwhelm you with the tempo. And while you're somebody's trying to get lined up, next thing you know, Dylan Gabriel's throwing, 50-yard touchdown pass to Andrew Anthony. And if they envision that happening in the Cotton Bowl, I'm sure their staff is how quickly can we get up 14-0 and put doubt in Texas's head? How quickly can we have that make it feel like an avalanche? It's a juggernaut mentality. And the best way to do that is to not even let the car get out the garage. Ole Miss runs the same system, okay? Some nuance there, especially with Lane. Lane's going to have his own spin. But for the most part, Ole Miss and Jackson Dart run the same system. Alabama and them shut that shit down, okay? And the way that Alabama and them did that was they won the line of scrimmage. Judkins and that run game and their quarterback run game with Jackson Dart, they never got it going. What it became incumbent on is Jackson Dart having to drop back and be Superman completing balls downfield over and over and over again. That is how they stopped it, okay? Versus Ole Miss this past week against LSU, who, for whatever reason, they have a hell of problems in their secondary and they're not playing well at the line of scrimmage. Ole Miss ran the ball on LSU, and now all of a sudden Ole Miss had 700 yards in that game. That's 1 week difference between opponents, by the way.
Yeah.
Between Alabama shutting the whole thing down and Ole Miss getting everything they wanted versus LSU. Texas has to approach it the same way. Look at the Florida-Tennessee game, by the way. Tennessee runs bear and shoe. Florida, they stopped the car at the run. And they said, Joe Milton, if you want to throw deep incompletions, go ahead and knock yourself out.
80-yard bomb, baby.
Those are very low percentage plays too, man. Very low percentage. Like you say, I be honest, Longhorn Nation, I got a confession. To me, I think this is going to be a real easy game. I don't want to get y'all hopes up. That's just me personally. I don't think this. I think it's going to be a real easy game. We got 3 war daddies in the middle. Sweat, Murphy, and I'm gonna throw Alfred Collins in there. And we can, if you want to, we can get deeper and throw Vernon Broughton when we want to. I don't see them running the ball on us. I don't see them getting outside on us. And even if they throwing bubble screens like that sometimes, or those little hitches, we got Jade Barron out there, who's very, very good at that. The only hope they got, like you said, hit a couple deep passes, but those are very low percentage throws. You might hit 2 out of 4, 2 out of 6, maybe every blue moon. So like I say, man, I'll be honest with you. I feel real good about this game. I think it's gonna be a real easy game. And I just don't, like I say, Quintavious Young, man, when the game is on, he plays very good, bro. Quinn has never let us down in a big game. So, like I say, I'm gonna throw my prediction up there, Steve. Y'all can put it up if you want to. Give me a call, Oklahoma fans. 40-20 Texas. Boom.
Boom. Hey Derek, we see Trey been getting active on special teams, brother. We
Yeah,
love to see it.
Yeah.
Trey
that
Oh
dude's
has
a
yeah.
been
missile.
getting
Yep.
active.
The missile. I
Trey
like that.
Wiseman's a missile.
Yeah, the missile.
Might cause a fumble this week. Who knows?
Yeah.
Might knock that ball out on kickoff team. Who knows? We see him.
Oh
What
yeah.
say you, Chris? Pardon thoughts.
Man, I agree with Vashawn. I'm more confident about this game than I was the Alabama game. And me and Vashawn were very, very much confident about the Alabama game and accurate on how it happened. I'm going to say this is the one thing that kind of scares me that Venerable's going to do. I've seen this a bunch with Quinn. And the one thing that I like that he's doing, and also with a 3 safety look, another thing that helps you against a 3 safety look is your quarterback running. And in the previous years, we've never seen, our quarterback really take off like that. Hudson Card did, but I guess Sark was telling him not to. I like that Quinn's when he doesn't know what's going on, instead of, throwing 33 incompletions against Oklahoma State, when he's not comfortable, he takes off and gets down and gets safe, gets positive yards, keep these drives going. The one thing that Brent Venables is going to do that scares me, I've seen him do this in the past on any defense he has, is that he'll come up with about, he'll have his defensive line, his 3. You'll see 5 or 6 in the box. Like, who's coming? We don't know. I know that confuses our offensive line. But what I've seen with Quinn a couple times this year, where I'd like to see him show a little more patience, the thing I do like that he has that awareness in his head, like, I got to get rid of the ball. I can't take the sack, and he's not getting caught with the ball in his hand like we saw Milroe early on in the year, not on the outside, not being able to throw the ball away and just having to take a sack. But one thing I've seen that I don't like is that whenever they have that mock pressure and they don't bring everybody that they're bringing, he's reacting to pressure that's not there. And I've seen him take off quick at times when he shouldn't take off. You know what I'm saying? And all these weapons we're talking about we have on offense, and hey, Quinn's hitting them. Quinn is hitting them. He's not a one-read quarterback that's the athletic guy that is really looking to run after one read is open. No, not at all. I'm not saying that. But I know, man, there's going to be pressure, and obviously Quinn is great against the blitz. But I think Venables is going to bring some fake pressure, some mock pressure that's not even there. I just pray that Quinn's patient with it. He's careful, And we're a second half team. Like, if we get down early, I don't think it's going to happen. But if we get down 14-3, man, I feel great about this team. Coach Sark, the way the offensive line grinds on people, the way Quinn just stays. Sark is able to get this guy, keep him going. He's able to get him started early. And let's say there's a slow start, he's able to get him going in the game. We're not seeing the TCU game we saw last year. We're not seeing the Oklahoma State game we saw. He's actually able to get him going. If he's able to get him going, man, I got us winning 41-24, honestly. And I'm gonna say this in closing. I heard a question. I heard someone say this weekend. Actually, one of my homies said this weekend watching the game. He goes, "Man, what if we had Bijan and Rojo on this team? The way this offensive line is blocking." And I'll be truthful. The way our line is controlling the line of scrimmage, I think Bijan and Rojo did a great job behind the young offensive line last year. But when in doubt, man, give me the offensive line over the 5-star running backs all day, every day, because that's how you win games. I'm not saying Brooks and Baxter are average, but right now, in this point of their career, they're not Rojo and Bijan. And the way we're dominating teams right now up the middle, in anywhere we run the ball, give me that veteran offensive line all day, every day. All day, every day. 41-24 Texas.
I agree with and Mark. It's always all hands on deck versus OU, no matter what.
For real.
No matter what. Nah, there's no there's no, oh, are we gonna be vanilla for the playoffs? You know, like some of you
Mm-mm.
fans out here. Now
No.
this is empty the clip.
Empty your
Always.
clip, brother. We ain't got hey dog, we ain't hold nothing back. Nothing. Nothing back.
um, Look, I mean, you can hear the confidence in the predictions, but it's coming from a place of what this Texas team has shown, but
Yeah.
also from a standpoint of where the holes are. We feel with Oklahoma on both sides, but also how we match up. Right, styles make fights,
Mm-hmm.
and you know I've seen better. As good as Dylan Gabriel is, am I as worried about Dylan Gabriel? Somebody brought up Michael Penix earlier. I'm like, we just faced Michael Penix in a bowl game. I'm sorry, but those guys kept me up at night. Him and Adunze and those guys, they kept me up at night
They was good.
longer.
They was good and real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
those those guys are the real deal, man. And it's funny. It's funny how the path that both Texas and Washington have taken after that bowl game, and how good both these teams look.
The
Right?
revenge tour, Steve, the revenge tour. They on the hit list. I know where
Yep.
you're going with this.
They're
Oh
on
yeah.
the
They
Yeah.
on the hit list. Hey, I told somebody that. I look and I said, man, wouldn't that be something? Washington and Texas meet up in the CFP. Who knows, man? You know, it's
Who
been a
knows?
revenge tour.
Who
Yeah.
knows? They've been terrific
Yes, they have. Yes,
so
they have.
far.
Yeah.
No, oh, hey, Derek, thank you so much. Thank you. Said this one is going to show Texas players they are for real. They need another win to show Bama wasn't a fluke. Absolutely, too many NFL bodies, especially up the gut.
Mhm.
Oh, 100%, brother.
Yes,
When you
sir.
think about, and it's a great point, because from a scouting perspective, from a tape perspective, guys have been, you know, it's yes, it's a Big 12. You want to get up for everybody, you want to approach everybody the same. Let's be honest. The last time they were really turned up at practice, that week of practice for the opponent, was Bama. Was week 2.
Yeah.
This is like the first time that they're like, all right, like we get to like turn up again. We want to go and kick some butt. Like we want to go and make a statement. We know from a recruiting standpoint. You know, some of the names of some of the guys that are hanging out there, even for 2024, are going to be at this game. College game day, big noon kickoff. I think both are going to be there, if I'm not mistaken. Um, it not to mention the amount of kids, and I say this every year, and this goes for both Texas and OU, by the way. Okay, this isn't one sided, because the OU kids should be feeling the same way on their end. And I know, anytime you get your butt whooped 49-0, you should. I would hope you come back and show some pride to your
Yeah.
rival, and come back and show Josh Pate's coming. Yep, Pate State's on the way, but I would hope that you show some, and come out there and show some fight. Also, the amount of kids on both teams that are from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it means something. Chris can speak to that.
Yep.
Playing in the Cotton Bowl is, that means something. You have family and friends that are there that maybe not make it up to Norman. Maybe they don't make it down to Austin. It's home. That was one thing that I was interested to see with Quinn last year.
Yeah.
That was Quinn's homecoming. And I'm like, how's he gonna? And he felt so, he wanted to play. He talked about going to that game as a kid every year,
Yeah.
and going to the fair, and then going like there's so many kids on both teams where that is the case. The amount of kids that are from Dallas Fort Worth, I know it's gonna mean something to DJ Campbell, right? Trey Weiser and
Anthony
Manny
Hill.
Muhammad,
Yeah.
right? Like, this is homecoming for a lot of these boys. A lot of these boys that just won a state championship from South Dallas.
Yeah.
Think about the amount of kids that just won a state championship that are now on our roster. Billy Walton, Manny Muhammad, right? And so the list goes on. But I'm so excited for this opportunity. I see how spicy is getting in the chat here. I love it. Uh, any other thoughts? I know I said parting thoughts, but anything else we wanted to mention? 171 here. Make sure I hit that like button, subscribe, the whole bit. We appreciate it. Unfiltered Longhorn Talk on Facebook. You guys are what, over 12,000 people in the group on
Yes, sir.
Facebook, and man, I'm sure it's been as active as ever, with as well as
Wow.
Texas has been.
Hey, when Texas is winning it, bro, everything is like, it's crazy. It's like you get 50 new people requesting to join Longhorn group.
Each day.
So,
Yeah.
hey, even the media takes notice. And I saw an Oklahoma fan, and I'm in a bunch of SEC, and I know a lot of Texas fans in too, RN also, those SEC groups. But I did see an Oklahoma fan, and he just said, "Man, it's gonna be a good game." He said, "But shout out to Texas, really being relevant." I didn't think he took a shot, but he was like, "Man, this is where it need to be." And he's like, "Man, this is a big game," and and the Oklahoma and Texas know how big this game is. We know the SEC heads are really kind of new to this, so they're looking at us like, "Oh, what are y'all talking about? This, ain't nothing bigger than Auburn and Alabama or Florida and Tennessee." And we like, bro, when these two teams play and when they're both good, ain't no other rivalry in the country, in my opinion. So, hey, hey,
I
man,
believe our
yeah.
Bashan, to your point, I believe our future SEC commissioner Greg Sankey is coming to the game on
Oh, oh,
Saturday. I heard.
You think he'll make that
what,
a 6 p.m. game next year? That'd be nice.
that's 2:45, 2:30, I think. But hey, so it's what about the Big 12 commissioner? He not coming?
All I heard was Greg Sankey's coming to the
I
game.
know.
Domingo saw the same thing I saw.
Yeah,
I
he
wonder
Yeah,
coming.
I wonder if Sankey will see this and be like, man, we can do 6 p.m. here. I mean, why not? That would be
Man,
great.
everybody's always said.
Chris.
Every year they always say the
What?
security concerns hold it
Give
back,
Sonny
and
South
people
Dallas a
being in
chance
the
to
fair
show
all
out,
day.
baby. I'm going to so many concerts and walk out of there at 10 p.m. Fine. I mean, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Well, I heard that
Chris
two
says,
thirty.
"Let's do it." I don't
Yeah,
Okay.
care.
I heard they're going to 2:30. I did
I
hear
guess
that
Tuesday. It's
mentioned.
better than 11,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
For me,
yeah,
2:30 is the compromise, and we've done 2:30 before.
yeah.
There
yeah,
were times growing up I remember 2:30 kicks.
yeah,
I think 2:30 is the sweet spot, because
yeah.
that 11 a.m. I mean, I've gotten used to it now that I live here, and getting up to the fair bright and early when you still got crust in your eyes at 8 a.m. and you're trying to, have a good. But I feel like a 2:30 kick, now you have a good buzz heading into the day. If people want to enjoy the fair early, especially people that have kids, it's a long day either way, because most OU fans and Texas fans are bringing a lot of children, and so you got to factor those things in too, because it's like,
Hmm.
hey, this might be the one time we get to go to the state fair. So it's a lot of, if you've never been to the game, you might not have any idea what we're talking about, but it's a thing. When you bring the
Yeah,
whole family
it's
there,
amazing.
that's a whole day.
Yeah,
That's a whole day. Whether
Yeah,
you win or lose, promises have been made to the little ones that they're going to go ride some rides, that they're going
yeah,
to go play some games,
so you
that
better
they're going to
win.
get a funnel cake.
you sitting on you sitting on a ride with a sad face if your team lost, boy.
You're not there long if your team
In
win, but if your team
K-State.
win,
Yeah, yeah,
hey, go get what you want. Go play all them games, man.
yeah,
Go get them fried Twinkies, man. Come on,
yeah,
man. You good.
yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, you big spending when you win. Here, go
Oh,
ahead.
big
It's
time.
on me.
Big time.
Bro, it's hilarious. It is hilarious. Like, I've trust me, I went to 49-0, where Texas fans, it literally turned into a party afterwards at the fair, and it was just burnt
Yeah.
orange in there. And you can see, some OU fans that they had to still use their ticket and enjoy the fair after the game, and sad faces, and on waiting on the rides and waiting 30 minutes to get a turkey leg, just sad, right? That's a tough feeling. And I've been on the other side where we're having group therapy in the line to get corn dogs because we're sad. And OU fans are turning up on the other side, celebrating the Caleb Williams comeback. I've seen it all. That's why when, like you said, Rashawn, when the SEC people come and they see all that, there's nothing like this. Win or lose at the Iron Bowl, you get to leave afterwards, right? Like you're gone. Like it's whatever, right? And in this, you got people hanging out the whole day talking about the game, win, lose, or whatever, right? So definitely, yeah. No, anybody that's waited in line for a turkey leg after the game, especially if you get anxiety. I know I'm rapping right now, but I don't care because I love you guys. This is fun. I have trouble eating a whole lot before a game because I have anxiety before any football game, even if it's like a preseason game. So for me, I normally eat after the game. Like that's when I'm like, win or lose, like my body's coming, I'm on the come down. So it's like, all right, I need sustenance, right? And it's real, bro. When you're live for you're like, all right, you get a kebab or a turkey leg. And it's like, it's everything started to hit you.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
But I appreciate you guys coming on. You guys, again, like I said, you can find them on Facebook, the Unfiltered Longhorn Talk Group. I know you guys are having, just a ball in there and trying to keep up, moderating the entire group. And it's obviously a platform and a group of brothers that's growing, right? And brothers and sisters in there, contributing thoughtful Texas content and conversation and banter and all sorts of things just to help us get ready for game day each week. So I appreciate you both very, very much. Guys, remember, subscribe, whole thing. Somebody asked me when Chris and Seth are coming back. I have some good news. They are coming back. And we have a date. It's going to be on Thursday at 7 p.m. So if you want, for the official Trash Talk preview that we do on an annual basis with the Horns Down podcast, you guys will actually get to see Seth's face. I've got it confirmed. I know we have not seen Seth since Kieran read him his atonement after the game last year. We have not seen Seth since Kieran read him his atonement. So I'm excited to see Seth Thursday night, 7 p.m. I'm going to put the link out, and we're going to be on there talking ball and talking a lot of trash.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Sean, Chris, thank you guys.
Appreciate it, fellas. Hook 'em, man. Hook 'em.